Hello and welcome to RWR Plays TEW2020. This is our local to global series, the Random Wrestling Review. Doing pretty well at the moment, and we are heading towards our Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza tournament. 2 nights of action in August every single year. And that actually reminds me that the first thing I need to do today is change some things around in the calendar. So, first of all, this is going to be the third anniversary show next month. So in September, we've got our third anniversary show. I'm hoping that will be our next episode or the focus of our next episode because I'm hoping we'll get both of our SSTT extravaganza nights done today. And the first thing I need to change about this is this needs to be Thursday and this needs to be Friday because we do have a lot of people who work for ECW, and they're not available on Saturdays. So we've obviously changed that in the last year or so. So those are the 2 days for our tag team tournament this time around. We do need to also make a signing or two, but thankfully I already made this decision a little while ago when I was, even before I recorded the last episode actually, starting to think about what we were going to do. We're going to hire these two guys, Bart and Brad Batten. Now I can't even remember, honestly, where I saw these two guys. I just am aware that they are here, and I figured let's bring them in. As I said, I can't remember where it was that I saw. I became aware of these, and there's a vague recollection in my mind that I saw them on YouTube or something, or somewhere outside of the game world. Um, but that's fine because I just want to bring them in specially for this tournament. We probably won't use them beyond that tournament, although you'll notice I've just signed them basically on ongoing deals. There's the potential for them to continue on for a little bit afterwards, maybe depending on what we do and what we plan to do in the future. But I don't know exactly what that's going to be yet. So I just thought let's just get them in and not kind of limit them just to say 2 appearances for this tournament. And so yeah, we are going to have the tournament today. There's going to be, as always, 8 teams, 4 first round matches on night one, and then obviously the semi-finals and finals on final night. Now, just going to make sure that we properly align these two guys. So they are both baby faces. No, that's what I thought might happen. So they're both going as baby faces, and we need to make him an old school face. But actually, I think everything else is fine. We've just changed the name basically. So yeah, those two are ready to come in and be a part of this tournament, along with all of our other wrestlers. Obviously, the chase for the world title continues because, I say the world title, the Northwest title continues um, because all matches count towards the rankings and the points that you get within those rankings. And I've got to be honest, it took me quite a lot of thinking and a lot of time to decide what I was going to do in this tournament because of that fact. Because all the ranking, all the matches, all the wins you get are going to add to the points in the rankings. I was trying to be quite careful that there was a clear and defined sort of way forward going in terms of who the number one contender was going to be after the tournament. Now, what I've arrived at is a situation where there isn't really a defined and obvious number one contender based on just points by the end of the tournament. I won't talk to you in any detail about that now, obviously, because I'll be giving away the tournament, and that's really the focus of this show is telling you what happens in that tournament. But yeah, it did cause me some difficulty, and I had to really kind of think about a lot of this stuff. Let's just have a look at what happened at ECW Hardcore Heaven, shall we? Because I'm reasonably interested in where ECW are. Shane Douglas defeated Jason Knight to retain the World Heavyweight title in a 76 rated match. Pretty good match here, given it's Jason Knight. Shane Douglas is the champion. I wonder how long he has been champion. Currently, hang on, where is the current one? I can't. Oh, it's this one. Yes, 8 defenses since April of the same year. Okay, fair enough. Nothing major else to look at there. So yeah, it's time for night one. Hang on, we got news here. Bart Batten hired by ECWA on a handshake deal. That's fine. And of course, this head booker position in UWA is available. We might have a look at that in a minute, or after these shows, if we can manage to get them all in. So here we are then. Let's start to book this show. So the show is going to start not with a match, but with an angle where Johnny Grunge is going to come out and he's going to talk about the fact that Rocker Rock has left um, to pursue a career elsewhere. He is staying, however. So Johnny Grunge is staying, and he's saying that Rocker Rock is not here. After their tag team match last month, he chose to leave. So I'll go into more detail about that when we're actually going through the show. Then we're going to have another angle. Sorry, this time is going to be ECMO and CW Anderson. Yeah, looking pretty chuffed because I think the way I'm going to position this is that they were originally supposed to face Public Enemy, so they think they're going to get a bye, but then instead Bruce and Keith Hart come out, and it's revealed that they will now face. It is revealed that the Harts are Public Enemy's replacement in the tournament. So I just want to make sure. Let's have a look at Bruce Hart. So he's working heel. What have I done with myself here? He should be in a babyface from the start. That's not great for me. I don't really know what to do about that though. I'm not going to turn him. I think we'll just pretend that he's always been a babyface. Yeah, one of those things that to be honest, I didn't pay any attention to Bruce Hart in terms of his alignment from the very start. And I didn't need to because he wasn't appearing on screen. But then, of course, gradually I needed somebody to act as a kind of impartial authority figure at times on screen. And so I used Bruce Hart without even thinking. And then obviously he's now a heel and I can't turn him without it being a kind of sudden turn type thing. I mean, I guess I could just, to be honest, I guess I could turn him here. We could just do a sudden turn. I know that what am I doing? Cameo appearance. That's what I want. I know that won't go down well either with the crowd or him here, but I'm a bit like, well, I just want it to be right in the game. So that's what we're going to do. That it'll be a sudden turn, people won't be happy, but I just want it to be right in the game, even though actually I'm usually happy to just ignore it and pretend that he's always been a babyface. We're also going to add to the teams list the Batten twins. I believe they are twins. Oh, not Barry Buchanan, that's for certain. Team, there they are. So they're in now, since you've lost Johnny Grunge, of course. So we then finally get our first match, and we're going to see how good Bruce Hart is in the ring these days because he and Keith will be facing the team of ECMO and CW Anderson in the first of the tag matches. We'll try and keep it reasonably short. I think we'll give Bruce Hart the victory over Anderson. There we go. Yes, now we've got a problem because we don't have a road agent for this match. And who are we going to make road agent for a match when we've got all of our experienced guys? I'm going to give one of these Batten guys, I think. No, let's give it to Buddy Wayne. Let's see what he can do as a road agent. I mean, look, the Hearts haven't been fantastic either. In fact, I should add them as a team as well, shouldn't I, really? The Hart brothers. They've got no experience, according to this. I mean, obviously they have. That's ridiculous. So that's the first match of the first round. Then we're also going to have in the first round. I haven't actually figured out. Oh yes, I do know who the main event's going to be. So the next match then is going to be Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan against Kid Chaos and Charlie Haas. And as you might imagine, Steel and Buchanan are going through here. Give the victory for Steel on this one. He can pin Kid Chaos. Pinfall there to end this one. Ooh, I have just thought that I haven't got anything in these shows to address this ongoing story. Actually, maybe I will come up with something for night 2 because actually I think there's a simple fix for this. Let's put that one in. The simple fix is basically going to be that Storm's going to challenge Kid Chaos to a match at the third anniversary show. In an interview segment. So that's what we're going to do on night 2 of this event to address that story. So then next up we've got our tag team, our new tag team in. We're going to have Bad Crew against the Batten Twins. And actually we're going to have Bad Crew win. Bad Crew are our tag team champions. I don't want to do them an injustice and have them lose against an entirely new team. And as I say, I've kind of brought these guys in just to do these 2 dates, but there might be something else for them to do in the future. Who knows? But I've not got huge hope for that. Brad Batten is nowhere near fit enough for a match of this length. I mean, that's again another sort of indication that they're not really going to be that they're not going to be that useful to me in the future. And then we're going to have the main event, which is going to be the last 2 teams in the tournament, Buddy Wayne and his teammate Sean Stasiak against Batista and James Storm. You'll obviously remember that Dave Batista and James Storm came together the last month, and after beating Buddy Wayne and Kid Chaos. So Buddy Wayne, in a way, has kind of traded up for Kid Chaos and brought in Sean Stasiak to join him. And on this occasion, Stasiak is going to beat. Let's have him beat. Should I have him beat Dave Batista? Yeah, I like that. We're gonna have him beat Dave Batista. Yeah, gonna go for the pinfall finish, and we will also make this a story-driven show match. So those are the 4 first-round matches. We still need to book 10 minutes, which is a little bit of an issue because I've got nothing else in mind for this show. I mean, I know that some of the matches are a bit short, but they are necessarily short because of the wrestlers we've got on this card. So I guess I need to think about what I'm going to do next. I think it makes sense for James Storm to ignore Kid Chaos on this show because he's preparing for the main event, and therefore I wouldn't necessarily care about Kid Chaos in this instance. But hmm, difficult one. This I don't know what to do. I'm a little bit like, what else do I book to kind of make up those 10 minutes? I mean, I can make this bit longer, certainly, and I can probably make that, not that another minute longer. We're still at 7. So this is not good. I just genuinely have no clue what to fill this gap with. Um, Tell you what. Well, let's just do some sort of stuff here. So we'll have Dog and Rose, and they brag about their victory last month and say they will dominate this tournament. I don't think I can make it a full 7 minutes. So that feels a little bit over the top. Maybe 5 minutes, and then maybe increase this by a minute. Don't usually like them to go. I wonder if we can. I don't usually like them to go over 15 minutes, but I guess needs must in this moment. So let's have the slow build, and let's make it 16 minutes. The main event. There you go. It fits in now. Okay. So that is day one of the SSTT Extravaganza. Let's see what happens. So 86 people here, so a drop off in terms of the crowd, not massive, but a little bit of a drop off. It starts with Johnny Grunge coming to the ring, and he talks about the fact that after the tag team title loss last month, with him and Rocco Rock losing to Bad Crew, his partner Rocco Rock told him that he was done with RWR. He feels like they did everything they came here to do, and decided he didn't want to continue. And he had a deal on the offer to go out, deal on the table to go elsewhere, and he took that offer. Johnny Grunge said though that he is going to continue to battle here in RWR, and one day he wants to get those tag team titles back. He says that this means that he and Rocco Rock cannot take their place in the tournament against ECMO and CW Anderson coming up. So Johnny Grunge improvised well throughout the segment, and we got a segment rating of 26, so not a bad start. Then the next segment was pretty poor. So it starts with ECMO and CW Anderson coming out, believing that they're about to receive a bye into the semi-final because of the Public Enemy's withdrawal from the tournament. However, Keith Hart and Bruce Hart then emerge, and it is announced that they instead will take the place of Public Enemy in the tournament. So let's say a segment rating here of 14. CW Anderson clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and performed well, but in general this was not good. And then the match. Oh yes, of course we're going to do this, aren't we? Are you sure you'll just continue? No. What we want to do is turn in babyface. Too many of my recent turns have been shocks. Whatever. Let's move on. So then the Hart brothers defeat ECMO and CW Anderson in 7:36 when Bruce Hart pinned CW Anderson. Anderson was a 25, ECMO a 25. The Hart brothers are really poor, 15 and a 13. This only got a segment rating of 21. One thing I will say is it actually doesn't really matter that the match quality is, even if it was like a 15 or 14 or whatever, like our company's still not of a popularity rating enough yet that those segments wouldn't still appeal. So we're okay with that for the moment. And Keith Hart's performance actually is a step up on the one he did last month. So maybe that's something to consider. Buddy Wayne could have done better as road agent. I mean, that's also the problem. They're both the two main road agents. And Bruce Hart has a gimmick that is getting stale, so I might even have to change his gimmick up. So then we have the second match in the tag team tournament. It's Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan versus Kid Chaos, and Charlie Haas. Steel and Buchanan win when Steel pins Chaos in 9:42. Barry Buchanan at 30, Ace Steel at 30. They're both performing really well at the moment. Charlie Haas just at 24 and Kid Chaos at 19. Segment rating of 28. That's a good rating. Then Bad Crew versus the Baton Twins. Bad Crew defeat the Baton Twins in 9 minutes and 3 seconds when Dog pins Bart. Rose had a performance of 21, Dog at 22. I mean, their performances are just slightly edging upwards, so maybe there's like a chance that they might be all right going forward. I don't know. We'll see. They are now our tag team champions, of course, so they are as not planned at all, as I explained in the last episode, going to be sticking around with us for a little bit yet. Brad and Bart Batten, a 20 for Bart, but only a 14 for Brad. So he's another one that's not of the highest in-ring performance. I'm kind of accepting that we've made some cheap choices, I would say, with the Batten twins and using the Hart brothers in this tournament. Ones that not only are cheap in terms of money, but they also don't really invest in any future stars very much. Uh, that wasn't necessarily by design, but I also felt like we didn't, with the Hart. I feel like the game are treating the Hart brothers as less significant than perhaps the fans would. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, segment rating of 21 here. It's okay. We have Bad Crew through to the semi-finals. And then we have not the main event. We have Dog and Rose, who actually have a good segment here, 31, where they talk about how they are the tag team champions. They beat Public Enemy. They ran Rocco Rock out of the company. And now they are going to be going all the way in the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza tournament for the second year in a row, because, of course, they won this tournament last year. Segment rating of 31. That's really, really decent. And then the main event, which is a 28 rated match, which is not great, but not terrible either. Maybe because of the length of this one. Yeah, the match was a little too long given our audience. And that was mainly to make up the time that we had to provide in this show. Buddy Wayne and Sean Stasiak get the victory in 15:35 when Sean Stasiak pins current RWR Northwest champion Dave Batista. Big victory for Stasiak there. Buddy Wayne was the least impressive wrestler during this one. Stasiak a 32 performance. Batista now regularly getting around the 29-30 mark. So that's really good given where he was at one point, and James Storm at 28. So not great from Buddy Wayne's perspective, but everyone else looked really good here. And that is night one of the tournament. Not too bad. An overall rating of 28. A couple of decent matches, one or two decent angles, but not a great show for us in terms of our recent kind of form. We're going to compliment Dog and Rose because of that angle that they did, which was pretty good, and I think obviously Sean Stasiak in terms of his in-ring performance. It's the first time I've actually complimented Dog and Rose, and I just their segment was the best of the night. It wasn't a great show in general, so that's sometimes how it goes. Let's not waste any time though. Let's just go to the next night of the Super Summer Extravaganza. Apologies, I still have trouble with that. We have an absent worker. Oh, Bart Batten, what are you doing, man? So Bart Batten is absent. I didn't check that. To be fair, I didn't check it after he got signed up by them. That is annoying. Well, thankfully he's not in the tournament semi-final. Is there any? I don't think there are any local workers. This is the other problem. Kevin Green, who was uh, you know, I think he was a football player, American football player. I think. I don't imagine we could sign him though. 780, we could bring him in, but it would just seem a bit weird. Maybe Luke Williams. He's not even a wrestler though. Luke Williams. He's retired completely. So we could bring in Kevin Green to be in the ring here, or we could just not do the matches that I thought that were non-tournament matches for the show. Well, let's put what we can put together for this show, which starts with the first tag team match in the semi-final. So it's going to be Bruce and Keith Hart against Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. Is that right? No, that's not right. No, against Bad Crew. Against Bad Crew is what they're supposed to be against. Bruce Hart and Keith Hart against Bad Crew. Uh, this is going to be really poor, this match. There's just can be no doubt about it. But Bruce and Keith Hart are going to win. We'll have this one work the crowd. Pinfall finish. Oh, and we have to change the. I think we'll just use Buddy Wayne again. He was. I mean, I don't know how good he was because you just don't get a rating for how good they are. But that's going to be the opener: the Hart Brothers versus Bad Crew, and then the second semi-final is, of course, Buddy Wayne and Sean Stasiak against Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. I think we can go a bit longer with this one, so let's go 13 minutes. And we're going to have in this one Barry Buchanan in Sean Stasiak. A bit of give and take in terms of almost 50-50 booking, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm not. I gave Sean Stasiak a nice win, but I didn't necessarily want him to go supernova, and I needed Stasiak and Wayne to lose this one because Barry Buchanan and Ace Steel are making it to the final. Let's make that one storytelling as well. So that's the two semi-finals sorted out. We can also put the final in because we know what that's going to be. It's now going to be Bruce. Why can't I get Bruce to appear? Bruce Hart and Keith Hart, and they're going to be up against Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. Second match in the same night. It's going to be tough. We'll make it 9 minutes. Yeah, this is not going to go well, I don't think. But we're going to have a flash pinfall finish, and the winner is going to be Bruce, and the loser is going to be Ace Steel, I think, with a clean flash pinfall finish. And we again have to make Buddy Wayne the road agent, and this, of course, is for the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. Look, I mean, I think this is obviously me being a little bit silly because the Hart brothers are terrible, right? They're just not good performers on the game. And Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan would have been far better winners. And actually, I'll be perfectly honest with you. My original vision for what we were going to do here, where before Rocco Rock left us, was to have Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan win this tournament and then go into at least a tag team match, maybe a feud, maybe even win that match. I don't know. With the Public Enemy for the belts. But of course, when Rocco Rock went and I had to switch the belts from them, I then had less of a reason for Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan to win the tournament because they wouldn't necessarily then need. Well, they could still face Bad Crew, but it would be heel versus heel, and I'm trying to keep that from happening too much. We have had a heel versus heel match in the history of the company, but I just felt like for important matches, or I think just basically I want to keep that to a minimum. I think basically the 90% of all the matches, maybe even 95% of all matches should, in my view, in this kind of a promotion, we are supposed to be family friendly after all, should be 95% should be heel versus babyface. 4% should maybe be babyface versus babyface, and then 1%, a really small percent, should be heel versus heel, because I just don't think that works, especially in a family kind of company. So anyway, you may not agree, you may agree, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's just the way I see this promotion running. So I had two matches set up, two non-tournament matches in my mind for what would happen here. One of them can still go ahead. The other one is going to be a little bit more tricky than it was going to be. I could just not use the Batten twins here, I think. I'm just trying to figure out how I would shift things around. So let's just see. First of all, then we would have Dave Batista. He was going to team with C.W. Anderson and ECMO. Thing is, he and ECMO were in a feud. I think I'm going to go C.W. Anderson with Batista. And that way he can be up, they can be up, I should say. Tell you what, I've missed somebody here, I think. I have missed somebody. It's Kid Chaos. That's me not thinking. The reason I've been, yeah, I'm being thrown off by the fact that we've actually got 17 wrestlers theoretically right now because Bruce Hart is involved in this tournament. And I'm tempted to just allow Bruce Hart as an extra because Bruce Hart is me, right? So I feel like that's okay. So that actually is not such a big problem. I could probably still do pretty much what I was going to do. So it's actually going to be Dave Batista, ECMO, and C.W. Anderson. Now, I appreciate Batista and ECMO were in a program with each other not long ago, and they're still going to dislike each other. But I think we can reference that without kind of making a big deal of it. If we had a commentary team, which obviously we don't, but if we did, then I would sort of be directing them to say, how are these two going to coexist? And I'd have the wrestlers talk to each other and discuss, perhaps just keeping each other at arm's length while still working together to win this match. But that's not now gonna happen. That wouldn't happen because we don't have any commentators. But like, we can do something in the ring where that can kind of be, that can kind of be, you know, suggested. And this can go for 12 minutes because there's a fair few people in the match. Although Brad Batten will probably almost certainly not be able to make it through this one. And I need the Hills have got to win this, right? So let's have Batista win, make up for his loss the night before, and he can beat Brad Batten because he doesn't mean anything, frankly. Especially as his brother's not available on a Friday. So that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to continue despite the warning. So we're actually now over time already quite significantly, but I figure we're going to go a little bit longer today. It's New Year's Day. Happy New Year. I meant to say that at the start of the episode. Yeah, it's New Year's Day. I feel like we're just in a place where we can just go a little bit longer today. Also, please give this video a like if you are watching it. I've noticed our numbers are starting to drop a little bit, which is a shame. It is to be expected as the series goes on. It just naturally happens, and this never really was expected to be a particularly big hit or anything. And we I think we've only, as of recording, I've only done about 65 views for the first episode. So if it was going to drop off dramatically, then it was going to get down to very small numbers. To be honest, I don't mind because I'm really enjoying doing this series, so I will continue to do it. But it's just a shame that perhaps more people aren't along for the ride. So if you are enjoying it, you are still watching, give us a like. And just sort of, yeah, let me know in the comments or something, just to keep me kind of motivated. At least a couple of people are still enjoying this series whilst I continue to do it, and it's become now more of a challenge for me to keep it going rather than anything in terms of getting lots of people to watch. As I commented before, I am recording this quite a long way ahead of New Year's Day, which is one of the reasons I forgot that this was the New Year's Day episode, to be honest. um, but as I said before, there is a chance though there will be a new series of TEW on this channel in the new year, which I think might be a bigger deal. But I don't think it will get priority over this because I'm finding this really, as I said, really engaging. So this one's really more of a labor of love than anything else. Um, so yeah, let's just keep going with this tournament booking, and I know what the other match is going to be now because it's just going to be exactly what I had before in my plans, which is we're going to see Johnny Grunge in singles action against James Storm. And this doesn't need to be particularly long. I think 10 minutes is fine. James Storm's going to win, and he's going to get, I think we'll give a submission victory for James Storm in this one. Okay, Johnny Grunge is very unhappy. You know what? Let's do pinfall, painted win. See if that makes any difference. I don't think it will. No. Let's just give him let's keep Johnny Grunge strong. Yeah, that'll do it. And we'll put that, I think, here. Yeah, in the middle of the show. This is the match where afterwards James Storm is going to challenge Chaos to a rematch. To another rematch, in fact. Where if Chaos wins, Storm will leave RWR. 6 minutes is fine. We're not going to be penalized thanks to that one segment, so that kind of goes there, and that's the show. It's long enough. It gets us where we want to go. Puts the matches on the show that we wanted to put on. I don't think there's anything else I intended to do at this show. So perhaps not the most noteworthy events in general, I suppose, but this will do. Let's have a look then, see how this goes. So 80 people, so even less people are here for this. So I think that's a good indication that the fans just do not care about the Hart family, which is, or at least these two Hart members of the Hart family. They beat Bad Crew in 8 minutes and 9 seconds when Keith Hart pins Dog, a segment rating of 19. Both Keith and Bruce Hart performed a little better than they did the last time we saw them. So who knows? Maybe they just needed a bit more regular action, or at least needed to be exposed to this crowd maybe a bit more. Um, Dog was really off his game. But Keith and Bruce Hart, the Hart brothers, have now beaten Bad Crew. They're in the final, and having pinned the Bad Crew, they pinned the tag team that are currently the RWR Northwest Tag Team Champions. Then we have Buddy Wayne and Sean Stasiak versus Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan in the semi-final number 2. Steel and Buchanan win the match in 13:27 when Barry Buchanan pins Sean Stasiak after an axe kick. Good performances all around. Buddy Wayne was again the weak link, although better than he was yesterday. Stasiak at 33, so he's got even better here. Buchanan at 28, Ace Steel at 29. Most of these guys are pretty solid performers, and I'm happy with that one. And then we have the singles match between James Storm and Johnny Grunge. I guess Johnny Grunge a little bit annoyed that he had to put over James Storm, but he's done it here, albeit with James Storm illegally using the ropes for leverage and us protecting Grunge in terms of this match. Grunge at a 25, James Storm at 28, segment rating at 26. Not too bad. Storm gets a big victory over Johnny Grunge. Then after the match, he grabs a microphone and he says basically that he wants to face Kid Chaos one more time. And this time, if Chaos wins, Storm will leave the company. So James Storm here having been lost to Kid Chaos once and then having drawn a 15-minute time limit draw with him the next time, he's challenging Kid Chaos to a match where his career in RWR will be on the line, and that will be one of the matches that will be on the 3rd anniversary show. Then we have the 6-man tag match. Dave Batista, Ekmo, and C.W. Anderson defeat Brad Batten, Charlie Haas, and Kid Chaos in 12 minutes 28 seconds. Batista pinned Brad Batten. This was not particularly good. Batten 15 performance, Kid Chaos and 19. Ekmo and Charlie Haas 23. C.W. Anderson 24. Dave Batista head and shoulders above everyone else with a 29. And also, as usual, the road agent job by Bruce Hart wasn't great, and Brad Batten was visibly tiring towards the end. And actually thinking about it, the amount of money we're now making, it might be time for me to invest in a better road agent. I think that is perhaps the thing that I'm going to do next, but we'll see. Segment rating at 25 is not too bad. Our final then, segment rating at 24, that's actually not bad at all. Keith Hart and Bruce Hart actually stepped up again for this one, a 19 and a 17 respectively. Barry Buchanan a 31, Ace Steel a 30. Bruce Hart was off his game. His gimmick's still getting stale, although Keith's is getting better, and Buddy Wayne could have done better as a road agent. But I'm not unhappy with a 24 rated match, I've got to say. The Hart brothers win when Bruce Hart pins Ace Steel with a quick cradle. The Hart brothers win the RWR Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza tournament. And the other thing I like about Ace Steel losing in this way is it kind of continues his unlucky quote unquote streak in terms of he just can't get a break. And even here, he gets the final of this big tournament in the Random Wrestling Reviews kind of calendar, and he loses in this way where he kind of hasn't been beaten, he's just been outthought rather than outfought. So I like that finish. The Hart brothers are the tournament winners, and that is this year's Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. An overall rating of 25 this show, which is better than I thought I was going to get when I was seeing those initial Hart brothers ratings. But that was a pretty good tournament for them in the end. They did get better, and then the final was actually okay. So we're going to make a little speech here. I think once again we have to praise Sean Stasiak because he was really good. Who else was really good in those other matches? Difficult. I thought James Storm was quite good against Johnny Grunge, but his performance in the angle wasn't especially good. I guess Dave Batista again, he was the best in the 6-man tag match. And let's go with Ace Steel. I'm going to point him out as a good example because, in my view, he has been a good example in terms of just playing his part really well. And that is the tournament done, dusted, we are heading towards the anniversary show next month, which is very exciting. Kid Chaos is annoyed by the booking that he's going through at the moment. And I guess what we're going to find here is that we've got morale issues in a number of places. Buddy Wayne, Jolly Grunge, Charlie Haas, and Kid Chaos, all with morale issues. Nevertheless, that's fine. Top 100s, I should imagine these two didn't perform very, very well. So day one was the 7th best show we've done, and day two was the 15th best show we've done. So not terrible. And I don't imagine we had too many additional matches towards the top of this one either. Yes, this the second semi-final is the 11th best match we've had in the show in the promotion so far. And there it is, confirmation. Bruce Hart and Keith Hart are the second winners of this tournament. I quite like that. We've got Bad Crew and the Hart brothers having previously won this tournament. One of the reasons I wanted the Hart brothers to win the tournament in some ways, or one of the reasons I chose them as the alternates to my original choice, was because of the Hart name being on the trophy and being in the tournament's history. So it had that benefit. Anyway, I think that's a good place for us to stop because we did go massively over time today anyway. It's New Year's Day. It's all good. We'll be back again, hopefully, Tuesday and Thursday. We'll continue to go on into January as this our promotion continues to grow. I hope to see you then as well. Thank you.